it's wonderful to have you here. I'm really excited for this conversation. For
Hi,
the
I'm excited to be here.
Great. So, for the sake of our audience, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Abbey Ellie. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a published author of 4 books, and that's why I'm here.
It started off with a flex. So, I mean, it's
Gunpla.
if it's true, it's not a flex. I mean, it's a worthy flex.
Yeah, it's it's kind of not a lot of people know that I do that, even like my close friends. And sometimes I'll say something and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, like when I published my first book," and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know you had any published books." It's like, yeah, I kind of keep it separate. I don't know. I don't really talk about it.
So, do you have a pen name as well?
I do. Abbey Ellie is not my legal name. Abbey Ellie is a shortened version of my first name and my middle name. So my name is Abigail Elvina, and I shortened it to Abbey Ellie because I was 13 at the time and I thought that sounded cooler. So it's stuck.
So, do you still feel the same way about your name?
Um, I like my full first and middle name, and I think it's a lot more rare than Abbey Ellie is. And I don't know why I didn't just stick with the full first and middle, because I wanted to do first and middle instead of my full name because I was young. And if I ever get married and change my last name, it's not going to be the same last name. So first and middle is consistent. But I was at the age of, I mean, I was at the end of middle school. So I was at the age where you don't like your name anymore. And so I just decided to change it. I don't know. Beats me.
I'm sure this is something which is common there, but it's not that common here in India. I don't see a lot of people,
Really.
yeah, in my generation who, if they don't like their names that the parents have given them, they just easily change it. It's just something which is not in our culture. So it's
Really.
kind of a cultural shock, but it's nice.
I'm glad I'm glad that I never like tried to legally change my name because I would have regretted it. But I had never my cousin always called me Abby, and she was like the only person that consistently called me by my nickname, and nobody else ever did. And when I was like 13 or 14, I just decided I wanted to be called by a nickname instead. So I had all my friends call me Abby. So now I like my full name better. I like Abigail better, but everybody calls me Abby, and it feels really weird if people don't. So
Okay, so Abby, when you mention all these things, right?
yeah,
It gives
yeah,
me an idea about you as a person. It gives
mhm,
me that
yeah,
you like to dictate life on your own terms, right? So, talking
yes,
about that, all these
mhm,
decisions that you make, that I want to be
mhm,
called with a certain name, I want to be addressed as a certain person, this is my personality, this is how I want people to see me. So, when you have
yes,
all those um, predetermined sureties in your life, certainties that this is what I want, these are all
uh-huh,
ways of expression. This is who you
mhm,
are. So I want to ask you, why do you write? Because writing is also a form of expression. So why
yeah,
did you choose this medium of expression over all the other things that you possibly do? Because I've seen you play guitar, you sing as well.
yes,
So why did
yeah.
writing become the most expressive way of being?
I think so because I'm a very creative person in general. I write, I play guitar, I draw. I do like everything that is creative. I journal, I do like all these things. But I really loved to read when I was little. I learned to read at 4 years old, which is extremely early for people to learn to read. And so I started writing my own stories when I was like 8 years old in a notebook just for fun. I would just write whatever came to mind. And I remember, I don't know, I just imagined myself as an author, even as at a very young age. I just imagined, I really loved going to the library, and I just imagined like my name being on the books on the shelves. And I think that's kind of where it started. But I remember something that's like a very vivid memory is I was 8 years old and I was in like the back of the car with a notebook and I was writing a story. And I asked my mom how old you had to be an author. And she said, I don't think there's like an actual age that you have to be. You just have to write a book. And from that moment on, like that was like my thought. I was like, you don't have to be a certain age. You just write a book. And I like at the time, I wanted to be like the youngest author ever, which has already been taken. There are some 4-year-old authors out there, can't beat them. But I was very young author, so.
I see that, you've painted your nails, you've got a passion for bracelets. Even I have a passion for bracelets. Even though I don't paint my
Yes.
nails, but I do love wearing bracelets. Today I'm not wearing any
Yeah.
because I've got a new tattoo. But generally
Oh,
I have.
nice.
Yeah. So
What is it?
it's basically the exact
Fun.
fraction of Moon's
Uh,
synodial cycle at the moment when I was born.
oh, that's so cool. I've never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, I really put my
That's
brains
fun.
into it and I was like, I have to get something unique.
Yes, that's cool. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Do you have tattoos?
I don't. I really want to get my first tattoo soon, but I am a competitive dancer and I have to cover my tattoos for things, so I don't want to have to get one and have to cover it up. So I'm waiting until that's kind of done.
So you told me you
So,
dance, you told me you sing,
yeah.
you told me you play the guitar, you told me that you've written
Yes.
4 books. Now that you've written
Yes.
5 books, I have this question in my head that I have to get out right now. How do you
Okay.
manage your time?
So I'm homeschooled, so I never had to go to school for the 7 hours a day or whatever everybody else does. Um, I feel like I make myself a lot of lists. So even when I'm doing my schoolwork, because I'm a senior in high school, so I'm almost done, but I do my schoolwork and I have lists of things that I want to get done. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to write this chapter of my book today, and we're going to put that aside. For dance, it's kind of an every evening thing, and we have certain class times. So that is already scheduled into my time. It's not part of my free time. Guitar is kind of just something that I pick up whenever I feel like it. It's just if I feel the music in my bones, then I'll pick it up. So I manage my free time well, I think. That's all I can say about that.
Talking about feeling the music in your bones. That was a really cool phrase to say, actually.
I can't help it. I have a writer's soul. I have so many
Yeah.
quotes in my brain. So,
So talking about that, how do you
yeah,
ever have that writer's block that everyone talks about? I mean, you clearly don't. You've written five
absolutely.
books. It's like every
Um,
time you breathe, you've written another book. Oh, published.
so I absolutely have writer's block all the time, and I've learned to kind of get over it in a way. I kind of force myself to write because even a lot of people say that forcing themselves to write makes them hate it, but it doesn't make me hate it. I feel like it helps me get through the parts that I'm not wanting to write because there are certain points in books that are just boring to write, and you have to write them anyways because they're part of the book. But sometimes, like in between books, I have I have given up on book ideas before just because they weren't sitting well with me, but I think I can kind of tell within the first few chapters if a book is going to stick. You can tell based on how connected you are to the characters and how much you're thinking about the story outside of writing. And if I don't feel that by like the fourth or fifth chapter, I just give up and I put it aside and I'll pick it up later if it ever comes back to me. So
So, do you have any favorite authors that you particularly like, or any particular genre that you are fond of?
absolutely. I adore ML Rio. She's the author of my favorite book ever. She wrote If We Were Villains. And every time I watch interviews with her or see things that she's talked about, I am enthralled by her. Everything that she says is perfect. She's so poetic. She's like a visionary. I love her so much.
Okay, I get a little comfortable here because I've broken my back, so I'll take that liberty.
Yes,
Yeah.
do what you need.
I see a lot of books behind you. Are your books also there
Yes.
on your shelf?
They are, but not in the same place. So I have a bookshelf right back there. And my books are the ones stacked on top of it because I don't like to keep them with the rest of them. And they're easier to get to when I film things for my social media and stuff like that. So,
You mentioned that, you asked your mom once that, how old
yes.
do you have to be an author?
Mhm.
So, what role do your parents play? Do you think that they've somehow inspired you to be a writer? Because I believe that all of us are inspired by our childhood experiences to do whatever we do in life. I do music because of that, I know that for sure. So,
Yes,
what
yes.
inspires you? Do your parents play a role in that?
I think that experience just showed me that you don't have to be you don't have to have certain degrees in order to be a writer. A lot of people think you need like an English degree or a writing degree, like creative writing, and you don't really have to. I'm sure it does help, but I've never gotten that far in education for that yet. I think that mostly what inspired me is just reading at a very young age. I was always at the library, and I think that's what made me want to become an author. So,
So not your parents particularly?
not necessarily. I think that that moment is very vivid in my mind because that was a thought that I had that was like, oh, you don't have to be any certain age. So that's like the only time I can think of talking about wanting to be an author to my parents before I became an author.
So would it be right to assume that writing is your therapeutic escape?
Sometimes it's therapeutic, sometimes it's stressful. But I've tried to make sure that it's not a chore. I will force myself to do it, but it's not something that I dread doing every day. So that I feel like that's good.
Okay. I mean, I was a teenager once, now I'm 21. So, but
Yes.
I can ask you this question because you must see a lot of
Mhm.
teenagers around you who must be using Instagram all the time, who must be using
Yes.
YouTube or Reddit or Twitter or whatever it is. Right. So, when you have
Yes.
so many distractions, so do you not feel tempted to waste your time doom scrolling?
I definitely do, and I definitely have fallen victim of doom scrolling and not doing work. But I try, if I find myself getting distracted by things like that, I will put my phone in the other room and I'll just write. But sometimes, like doom scrolling, sometimes can be good because I do get inspiration from that sometimes. I'll scroll across a video on TikTok and I'll just see like one of the ones I remember specifically because I'll just write down random ideas I've had. And I saw this video of these four girls and they were in like these pretty white nightgowns and they were in like a mansion. I was like, I've got inspiration. I'm writing that down. I want to use that sometime. So like it if you're using the doom scrolling productively, I feel like it's not terrible, but I try not to do it too much. So
So see now I have an excuse. Now anytime anyone in the world would ask me why do you not write? Why do you not write books, Kinjalk? I will simply tell them, see, uh, TikTok is banned in India. I cannot take
oh
inspiration
really?
from anywhere, so I did not write any books. So it's on
I
TikTok.
didn't know that was Denver.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
talking about being a teenager in the
Mhm.
US, I don't know
Yes.
what's that like. So I would love to know just your perspective. What's it like? How's peer pressure? What are your views on it?
I think it's a lot different for me because I was homeschooled, so I'm not in the public school environment. But I did do, you're gonna laugh at me for saying that I'm doing another hobby. I did theater at a public school for for last year for my junior year.
Yeah.
And so I got like a little bit of that public school experience. And I think that peer pressure, I feel like I'm sure is the same everywhere. I've never fallen victim to peer pressure because I'm smarter than that. Um, I do think that, I mean, there's a lot of school shootings. I have never been a victim of one of those, but we've had gun
Evidently,
threats at the
yeah.
school. So
Evidently, you're not a victim of that.
I'm not a victim of that. I've never experienced one, but like
Yeah.
people do bring guns into the schools a lot. We have metal detectors. I don't know if that's like a thing where you are, but we have metal detectors at the doors of the school. So,
No, no, that's not the case here. It's much more safer when we talk
yeah,
about school shootings and everything. That's not something that
yeah.
happens in India. But
I feel like everybody outside of the USA knows the USA for school shootings and junk food. So that's what I think of. But
I think we've copied the junk food very aptly. Thankfully, we've not copied
really,
the school shootings yet.
that's good. I hope that you guys don't copy
Yeah,
that. Don't take that from the US.
yeah.
But
Yeah, you keep it
yeah,
safely with you.
yeah, we'll keep it to ourselves.
USP.
Yeah.
Now we see Better Call Saul here. So talking about that, do you watch any shows? Anything that you watch on Netflix, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not a super huge TV watcher because I feel like when I watch TV, I'm not getting anything done. So
Mm.
I have to like multitask. I love Gilmore Girls. That's one of my favorites. I love all kinds of old Nickelodeon shows like iCarly, Victorious. I love them. Um, but I'm not a super huge TV watcher.
That makes sense. I mean, you're already occupied with so many hobbies. I'll tell you a
Yeah.
fun fact about me. I was in class 7th and I was doing theater,
Yeah.
and I played the role of a prostitute.
Oh, really?
So they had to shave all of my hair, and then they made
Oh,
me wear. They put something inside my blouse to
uh-huh.
make it look like breasts, and it was just
Okay.
really funny
So
because
you were a female prostitute.
yeah, I was a female prostitute, and my
Okay.
parents were really proud of me for that.
Well, that's great that they're supportive of that.
Hmm.
When I did theater, I was the lead in their play, and it was about this girl who loses her entire family to a tornado. So I had to practice all kinds of grief and sadness, and I had to like immerse myself into that role. So
If I ask you to change your emotions right now, would you be able to do that? From happy to like
probably
extremely
not.
sad.
At the time when I was constantly doing it, probably.
Hmm.
Now I feel like I'm just too into this. I can't think about it right now. So,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put you on the spotlight. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, talking about fashion, because you see, when you're writing books, you have to define your characters. I mean, when I
yes,
read a fiction book, I see they are written in so much detail. You would see my favorite
yes,
fiction books posted here. It's very small, The Picture of Dorian Gray. It's one of my favorite books of
oh,
all
okay,
time
yes,
because I think that it covers vanity, and it explores the themes very deeply of
yes,
narcissism, Machiavellianism.
mhm,
So it was just amazing to just read that book, and I realized when they
yes,
were talking about characters, you have to know fashion, you have to know how to dress your characters through words. So how do you do that?
yes.
What's your fashion sense like?
So I love fashion personally, so it's not super hard for me. I find it hard because when I write, I don't really describe my characters often. And that's just my own problem, but I do like leaving it open for people to make their own, image of what the character looks like to them. But for like clothing, I will go on Pinterest. I don't know, do you guys have Pinterest in India? Okay.
I
We
doom
have
scroll on
so
Pinterest.
you
I
like
doom scroll
what?
on
What is it?
Pinterest.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love Pinterest. I'll go on Pinterest and I'll normally know like a little bit of what I want my character to wear. But if I need like brand names or if I need a vision in my mind, I'll go on Pinterest, I'll find a picture and I'll use that. So
So, what are your thoughts and feelings about AI writing? Because a lot of people are nowadays using AI to write.
I could go on and on about this. I don't support AI in any sort of creative endeavor. I am it's very interesting because I'm a cybersecurity student. So AI is very big in that career, and I have to use AI for assignments, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. So I can't tell people, like, don't use AI ever because I have to for my school. But as far as creativity, AI is ruining it. And I feel like it's so hard now as a writer because I have been writing since before the age of AI, but I'm young. So people will think that, like, that's what I'm using. I'm using AI. But there are certain things like semicolons and M dashes, and people have noticed them in AI writing. And so when they see them in regular writing, they think that it's AI. And if you have a advanced vocabulary, you can get told that you're using AI. The Declaration of Independence was tested for AI, and they got it back with 90% AI, and that's impossible. So it's so hard in an age of AI to be creative and not get accused of using AI. So
I remember back in college. I mean, I'm still in college, but back into the last year, throwback to last year,
yes,
I was supposed to write a book review on 40 Rules
uh-huh.
of Love. And it's one of my
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed reading 40 Rules of Love because it was the story of Shams and Rumi, and the characters were well written. So I was just reading
Yes.
that, and I wrote the entire thing, and then I wrote
Mhm.
it all by myself. And then the teacher ran it
Yes.
for through the AI detector, and it was 60%
Mhm.
AI. And then I were marks were deducted, so I had to go to the dean and
Yeah.
request them that, see, I did not use AI. You can ask me anything. I know word by word.
Yeah.
So you just test me on that, right? So I get the point because I personally like using M dashes also in my regular
Yes. I
writing.
love M dashes.
So it's like one weapon that has been taken away from all of us writers.
And it's so hard because, like, AI detectors are not good. Like, they don't work. They're just going to tell you that it's AI if they find things that are commonly used in AI. But AI learns from people. So AI is learning from everything that you put on the internet. All of my writing, the AI can use because it can get to it. It's using all these things that it gets from people. And people are now using M dashes, semicolons, advanced vocabulary to say that you're using AI. And every time I'm writing and I add like an M dash or a semicolon, because they mean the same thing, they're both used for pauses, in dialogue or in the actual writing. Every time I use it, I'm like, is this a good idea? Is it worth it to possibly face allegations just to have that sort of expression? Or is it going to be easier to just rewrite it and not use those? And it's not feasible for people who are in creative careers for AI to be used for those things. So
Makes sense. So
mhm.
when we talk about cybersecurity, because you mentioned that you're
Yes.
studying that, right?
Mhm.
So you write, and then there's this degree also that you're pursuing, right, on cybersecurity. So
Yes.
where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
5 or 10 years. I don't even know where I see myself at the end of this year, honestly, but we'll see what happens. I'm getting my A+ certification in cybersecurity this year. So I am able to immediately start in a career in cybersecurity as soon as I'm graduated, if I want to. And that is great. It's a good plan. I've never seen myself doing that. Like, that was never something that I thought of myself as doing, but I'm good at it. If I were to ever be able to pursue writing full time, that would be amazing. But, it's hard. It's a hard career to get into. I'll post my things on the internet, but like, there's no way of knowing where you're going to be in a career that is mostly promoted on social media. You never know what's going to blow up. You never know what's going to happen. So I don't really know what I'm going to be doing in the next 10 years. I don't know what I'm doing at the end of this year. So
I think we are on the same page about that because I also prefer just going with the flow. I don't know where I'll be. I'll probably be saving a dog next time or a monkey from a cat.
maybe
Yeah,
just don't get run over by a motorcycle next time.
yeah,
Or was it a motorcycle?
yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
motorcycle. But I don't know. It's so strange because social media, when I first started writing, when I published my first book, I was 13, and I never knew what people did to get their books out there. I didn't realize that I was going to have to promote it, which is where my social media accounts started up. And social media obscures things so much that it's so hard because I've never sat in a room of thousands of people and talked about my books. I've never been face to face with that many people. But social media, I can see like, oh, 20,000 people saw this post that I posted. That's 20,000 people in room. You can't imagine that. You don't know how many people have like seen me on the internet. Like, I can't even begin to imagine how many people have seen my face that I just don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we are on two different parts of the world, and we are having
Yeah.
this conversation just because you posted a video on YouTube. So,
Yeah, and that's the beginning. Like, that's one of the things that social media is so interesting because, like, I live on the opposite side of the world from you. You saw a video that I posted and you reached out to me. So now we're talking. If every single person that ever saw my posts did that, could you imagine how many people from different places I would have talked to?
yeah. And
It's
that is
so
where
crazy
your
to think
need for
about.
cybersecurity will also come in.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
There are a lot of threats especially with AI, in the cyber world that need to have, there's tons of cybersecurity jobs open right now. So
Are you trying to tell me that I should be your colleague and I should also get into cybersecurity?
not necessarily. I don't know if it's as big in India as it is in America, but there are like in Colorado itself, which is just one state, there are over like 50,000 open jobs right now. And it's going to be even more because once AI takes over, my cybersecurity teacher is absolutely certain that AI is going to take over any job. And he's like, once it takes over, all we need is cybersecurity. And I'm like, I really hope that's not the case, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, talking about India, yes, it's a big thing here because we are the most populated country in the world, and
Yes,
everyone has
yes,
access to the internet. So that
yes.
creates a lot of scope and a lot of ordeal when people are all on the internet and they're just attacking each other, and
Mhm.
there are threads given, and then there are hacking happening, and everything's happening at the same time. So there is a strong
Yes.
framework. It's trying to work its way. I'm sure there must be a lot
Yeah,
of job openings here in India as well.
probably. It's crazy, especially in the age of AI. I don't know if you've seen anything about deep fakes, but people making deep fakes of people saying things, it's a very scary thing, especially as someone who is constantly on the internet, because someone can take your face and someone can take your voice and they'll make a deep fake of you saying something that could be completely untrue, and it could be dangerous, and it could be absolutely wrong, but they'll take it and they'll do that with your appearance, and then everybody on the internet will see it, and then they'll attack you, and it really wasn't you. But how can you even prove that at that point? You know?
So right now you've written like 5 books. I'll be diverting a little bit from that topic to the books, back to the
All
books.
good. Yeah.
So yeah, so you've written 5 books. All of them are fiction.
Yes, all of them
So
are
do
fiction.
you plan to write something non-fiction in the future?
Possibly, I have thought about it before. Um, I have read a few nonfiction books that are set up in a similar way as a fiction book, where it's a true story, but it's like it's told as if you're reading a fiction book, you know. And I could definitely do that. I would need to find something to write about, but fiction is easy because I can make up whatever I want. So,
Yeah, there is no kind of there is accountability with words, but there is not accountability with facts and fantasy. So that's
yes.
something good about fictional books.
And I feel like a lot of my like real stories in real life have been used in my books in just different ways. I get inspiration from my real life. And a lot of my books, every single book that I have published right now, is based off of a dream I've had because I lucidly dream. And so I'll wake up and I'll be like, that was an amazing story. I'm going to write it like right now. So I feel like a lot of the characters are based off of people I know, at least in appearance wise. So,
Yeah, that's kind of so relatable because you're jack of all trades. You're master
yeah,
of some. I wouldn't say you're not master of any. So you
I'm,
are you're becoming a master of writing, I'm sure. I mean, you started so early on. So you'll definitely be a
yeah.
like you're already a great writer, I'm sure. I haven't read your books yet, but I would love to as soon as I get them shipped here in India.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like I've always said, because I do everything, every hobby that you can think of, I've probably tried it. And I've always said I'm mediocre at every single thing in the world, and I can never be amazing at one thing. Like I'm just, kind of so in every single thing I've ever tried. And I mean, writing, I feel like is what I have the best. I have the most experience in writing because I've been doing it for so long, but I do so many things and I'm just mediocre at all of them. So,
Okay, I'll share something here with you. So this is kind of something that I'm not very proud of it, but
mhm.
it's kind of like a thought, a food for thought. So
Yes.
when you're interested in so many things and you're doing so many things, right? You have so many hobbies. There's
Mhm.
this a lot of people come and tell you, you're really good at music. I think you should start learning music, and then you'll be excellent at it. You have a lot of potential. A lot of people come to you,
Yes.
you write really well. If you start learning, or you take proper mentorship, then you would be the best writer in the world. I
Yes.
feel I leave the things there. Till now,
Hmm.
that is what I've done. If someone tells me that I'm good at a certain thing, I tell them thank you so much, and I do it at the
Hmm.
mediocre level as you mentioned it, not being the best at it,
Yes.
not with the intention of being the best, but also
Hmm.
with the satisfaction of thought that okay, I have the potential. It's kind of like a
Yes.
brag. I have the potential, so if I try, I would be amazing at this. But
Yes.
just for the sake of free will, you know what? I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to try my best at it
Yeah.
because why not? I'll just try something else.
Yeah. It's hard to be the best at anything, and it's not good to beat yourself up about it. Like, I've done dance for years, and I do the most classes out of like anyone, and I'm still not even close to the best dancer in the room. And I've never let that like bother me. It's just, I have another skill, like even if I'm not the best at it, like I can dance, I can write, I can draw, I can do this, I can do that. And it's just, I don't know if that's a good way to look at things, but I can do so many things. So,
Yeah. What's that poster about that's in the background?
the big one right there,
Yes.
that is Conan Gray. He is one of my
Oh,
favorite
okay.
singers. So,
Okay. I don't know why I didn't recognize.
oh yeah, do you know Conan Gray?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I've seen him live twice. So,
Okay. Who
in
who else
concert.
have you
So,
seen live? Have you seen Sabrina?
I have not. I love Sabrina and her like her outfits and everything. I've never gotten super into her music, but I do have a friend that did see her live, so that's fun. I've seen Hosier twice. I've seen Gracie Abrams, Conan Gray twice. I have to go in order of which I saw them. Role Model, and I technically saw him twice because he opened for Gracie Abrams.
Okay.
I've seen Lord Huron, um, the Lumineers, and Songbird. Those are the people I've seen live.
And what's your favorite song of all time?
My favorite song of all time. I always say this is the hardest question ever because I have so many favorite artists. My top song of 2025 was Sun Protector by Role Model. But I don't know if I would say that's my favorite song. But I don't know what my favorite song would be. So
Okay. Would you like to know mine?
I would love to know yours.
Mine is Yesterday. Have you heard it by the Beatles?
I have. I love the Beatles. I was my name Abby. The way that they spelled my nickname was because of Abbey Road from the Beatles. So.
Okay. Also, you mentioned now it just clicked me because I saw a poster of Metamorphosis here in my window. So, have you read this book, Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka?
I have not. I'm actually so terrible at reading classics or books that people really love. I have not read
Okay,
most of them. So,
I'll share a thought which your thought matches with him. So you mentioned that sometimes write on the basis of what's happening in your own life, right? So there's a chapter in this book. So he was really close to his sister in the real life, and there
yes.
was this one instance where the two of them fought. There was some disagreement, and then at the same time he wrote a chapter in this book where his sister says something about throwing him out of the house. It's a fictional book, but he used that inspiration, and he was seeing himself as the protagonist and the sister, and he was comparing the bonds, which helped him write that character so well. It made that character flawed. So I believe that whatever is happening around us, the people that we surround ourselves with, really does play a role in what we write or what we sing or however we express ourselves.
Yeah. And definitely because I have lucid dreams and I've always had them and there's nothing I can do to stop them. And the book that I'm writing right now, it's called Meadowbrook Springs, and it started with a dream that I had in 2020. And in 2020 everybody was shut down on lockdown, and my cousin was living in Utah at the time that I was living in Colorado. And so we were 7 hours apart or something like that. And so we didn't see each other as often as we normally did. And the dream that I had was that we ended up moving together to New York. and a ton of things happened within that dream that became the premise of Meadowbrook Springs. So a lot of times when I'm posting about Meadowbrook Springs, June, the main character, she's got curly hair, she looks like me, and a lot of people are gonna think that it's a true story, but it's not really. It's just a dream story, and June just ended up being me. So
Okay, so you get inspired by your dreams.
yes.
I have heard a lot of people believe in zodiac signs. Is that a thing
Mhm.
there? Do you believe in that?
I go back and forth on it. I'm a Taurus, and obviously some of the things that like they say about Tauruses are correct to me, but a lot of the things that they say about zodiac signs are very broad. So I don't know like whether to believe it. I will read my horoscope because I want to see if it comes true. But I haven't decided fully if I believe in zodiacs or not. So
So when's
I'm
your
kind of
birthday?
iffy on that.
So when
Huh?
does your birthday fall?
My birthday's May 20th.
Okay, May 20th.
Yes. When's
Okay.
your birthday?
Oh, leap year, leap day. So 29th
Oh,
February.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah. So I celebrate it once every 4 years.
Do
By that
you
logic,
count
I'm younger
yourself
than you.
as... Yes, so you're technically younger than me.
Yeah.
Do you not celebrate it any of the years that aren't leap year?
No, I do. So I celebrate
You do.
more on the year in the year which does not is not a leap year. So when it's not a leap
Mhm.
year, I celebrate it on 20th as well as on 1st. On
Okay,
28th,
cool.
I celebrated with my friends. On 1st, I celebrated with my family.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
But then you get like 2 birthdays on the years that aren't leap years, so that's fun.
Yeah, and a lot of sympathy also because a lot of people are like, "Oh, so sad." It's
Yeah.
not your birthday this year, and I'm like, "Great,
I think it's
sympathy
cool,
gifts
though.
coming hand in hand."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a cool birthday, though, so...
yeah. So, talking about birthday, do you get excited about your birthday, or is like birthday depression a thing there as well?
I feel like, yes, I get excited about it, but not as much as I used to when I was little because I don't do that many things for my birthday. I prefer to not have like a party. I did last year because I said I wanted to eat cake in the mountains, and so everybody took that as I wanted to have a party. But I just I like to just do my favorite things on my birthday. So I'll get coffee, I'll go to like the bookstores. I'll just do everything that I would want to do in a regular day, but on my birthday. So
So, you talk about going to the bookstore or just grabbing a coffee by yourself on your birthday. Does that mean that you prefer being alone, or is that the case
um,
with you?
I've thought about this a lot. I still live in a house with the rest of my family. And I've thought about if I would prefer to be alone. And I do think that I enjoy being alone. I love being in a room by myself with my thoughts. I do feel like sometimes it changes when I'm with certain friends, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like I love hanging out with my friends, and they kind of bring out like the extrovert out of me. But I'm pretty much an introvert, I think. I mean, I love being alone. I feel like when I'm alone with my thoughts is when I get some of the great quotes that I use in my writing. So
Makes sense. So, being alone helps in your
yes.
creative process.
Mhm.
That makes me wonder. So, two of my closest friends, they were doing a research on
Mhm.
whether creativity is influenced by abnormality. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
I think yes. I think that some people are just born a little bit more creative than other people. But creativity, if you have a creative brain, you can get ideas from anything. And I feel like I have like a notes app full of all my ideas for writing books. And it's just things that I kind of thought of randomly. But like when you said like creativity is inspired by abnormality, one of the things that like inspired me once, I live next to a steel mill, and every once in a while there's an alarm that goes off, and hearing that alarm at night, I was thinking like, wow, this is very dystopian, like you're hearing this alarm at night, and that's just where I live and that's what I'm used to. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, what could that alarm mean in a story, and that's like that's my thoughts on like abnormality. That's what inspired me in that way.
So for
So
you, abnormality is just thinking unconventionally. Seeing,
yes, I feel like anything can really give me an idea, honestly. It just depends. Sometimes I'm in a creative mood. So
so if I were to describe you in that sense, then the one line I would say, the one poetic line I would say would be that you do not look at different things to get ideas. You look at the same things but differently. Would that be
I
correct?
think yes,
Yeah.
kind of. I think so. I think I'm never going out and looking for ideas. I have never gone on the internet and been like, okay, I'm gonna sit on here until I get an idea for a book. It's just kind of throughout the weeks and the months and the years, something will just come to me and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write that eventually, you know?
Hmm. So you just go with the flow, basically.
Yes, I have never been in the situation where I had to search for an idea because I already have so many. And I think that's good.
Talking
So,
about searching, so you mentioned searching for an idea, right? A lot of
yes.
people seek spirituality, they seek God. Are you an agnostic or an atheist or you believe in God? What's your belief system like?
Um, I believe that I'm very religious. I am a Christian, but I have never been very like I don't go to church every Sunday, and I feel like I'm not very similar to a lot of the Christians that are here. I kind of do my own thing. I feel very connected to my religion and I feel very confident in it, even if it's not what everybody else does. And I feel like that's something that's been very important to me is the fact that my religion is kind of my own. It's my spirituality and it doesn't have to be anybody else's. So,
Right, so it's your journey and you're gonna take it.
yes.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect approach, according to me. Because
Yes.
you have your doubts some days, you have your faith some days,
Mhm.
and then you just have your conversations with God in your own way. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
conventionally perfect.
Hmm.
Uh,
And I feel like that's something that, especially at a young age, if people are pushing like religious beliefs on a kid, they're going to think too much about it. And I feel like that's kind of how I was for a very long time. Is like I thought too much about it, and I was like, okay, in this religion, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And then there was one point where I just kind of I don't remember what had switched it, but I was just in this point of mind where I was like, that's not really what being a Christian is about. That's not what the religion is about. You are considered a Christian if you believe in Christ. And so if you believe in Christ, you're a Christian. And you can do with that what you will. And I feel like nobody needs an organized religion in order to believe in whatever they believe in.
no.
So I
I'll
don't know
tell
how your
you.
thoughts are on religion, but
Yeah, so I'll tell you a fun thing that I read. I don't know if it's
yes.
true or not, but I
Hmm.
read that during the 30 years when Christ wasn't there and he was,
Hmm.
I'm not sure. Don't bully me on the facts, okay? But
No, I
when he
won't.
was,
I'm not going
yeah,
to.
he was traveling the world. So he came to India, and he was in
Hmm.
Kashmir and he learned Indian classical music.
Hmm.
So that was something really fascinating to me. I was like,
Yeah.
if it's true, then wow, Christ came all the way
Yeah.
here to learn Indian classical music. And if it's not true, the guy who started this rumor, whoever it was, they really used some brains. They connected Christ to Kashmir to Indian classical music. And it's like, wow, crazy creativity there.
Well, that seems correct to me. I mean, a lot of something that's a very big misconception, especially in America. I don't know how it is in India, but everybody portrays Jesus as a white man. Jesus was not a white man. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and he wouldn't have been white. And I feel like in that case, I feel like he was closer to traveling to India. I'm sure. Like I don't know. I feel like it's probably correct. I can't quote you on it, but
Yeah.
probably. So,
Geographically, it makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes more sense. It makes more sense for him to travel to India than it does for him to be a white man. So,
I agree
I'm just going to
on
say,
that. Yeah. I've had my
yeah,
fair share of experiences with Christianity.
yes.
I am a born Hindu and I do not
Mhm.
practice it,
Mhm.
but I'm not an atheist either. I'm an
Yes.
agnostic.
Yeah.
Sometimes I believe, sometimes I'm doubtful about the presence of an
Mhm.
Almighty. But my experiences with Christianity have been more related to my school because I went to a convent school. So there was a very pretty chapel
Mhm.
there. And it
Yeah.
was just wonderful just being there every single day and seeing people pray.
Mhm.
It was just amazing. So yeah, it's
I
peaceful.
feel like Yeah, I feel like religion, I've had like, everybody has their doubts on things that are true and things that are not. And I feel like that's a lot of I feel like I take that a lot and I write a lot of things about that, not in the books that have been published, but I have a lot of things that I feel like could be used in writing because, I feel like that's a big part of me personally is like that part of me. So,
So do you journal?
what?
Do you,
Journal?
yeah.
Yes, I do. I try to journal every day. I'm not terribly good at it, but most of my journaling ends up being plotting for my novels. So,
And do you have a commonplace book?
a commonplace book.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, so I recently came across it. I just found this concept very interesting. So I think we all have been doing it since forever. All of us do
Okay.
it, but we didn't know it had a
Mhm.
name. So
Oh, yeah.
commonplace
Okay.
books are basically books where you write quotes and you write poems or you write
Mhm.
interesting facts or just ideas. Some it's like a notes app, but a
Okay.
proper physical book, tangible.
Yeah, I write everything in one journal and I will keep using that journal until it runs out of pages.
Yeah.
And I don't really separate my journals. I want it to be a compilation of all of my thoughts. So,
Okay, so I really wanted to show you because I'm really excited to show you my new commonplace book. It's the first one that I've started writing.
fun.
And see, it's so small.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so small.
And then when you open it, I've even, written here, I'll hide my number, otherwise some scammer will call me. But you see, I've started writing. I just wrote the index right now.
Yeah.
You can see how horrible my
Mhm.
handwriting is. But it's something. So I'm starting to write a commonplace book. So it'll have poems, it'll have quotes, and it'll
Yeah.
have proverbs. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I try. I feel like I do that. I try not to make my journal too organized because then I just feel bad about writing in it. So I just write anything. So,
For that, I have another diary, but so I use this and the other one. But
mhm.
this particular one looked really cute and aesthetic, so I just wanted to maintain it like
Yeah.
a book which I can share it in public. It's like a really cool dating hack. You're out on a date.
Yeah.
Would you like to see my small commonplace book?
It's like a
Yeah,
an icebreaker.
yeah. Imagine me going to a US. Are you comfortable with dark jokes?
Dad jokes? Yes, I love dad jokes.
Yeah, so just imagine I go to a school in US and I'm like, wait, I have to show you my commonplace book, and then I put my hands inside my pocket and everyone is like, he's going to. I'm like,
A
oh,
school shooter.
yeah,
I've seen so many people joking about that on the internet, and obviously it's not funny, but it is like it's sometimes funny.
yeah.
It's sometimes funny to joke like that. It's not funny in the situation, but it's sometimes funny to joke.
It
So,
takes away the seriousness away for sometimes for you to laugh at things which are inherently not funny. So I think humor plays a major role in keeping the mind sane.
yeah, I feel like my way of coping is humor, and I feel like a lot of people are similar. And I'll see people on the internet joking about things like that, and like when you really think about it, it's not funny. But when you are joking about it, it's kind of bringing everybody together. So,
So, Abby, I'll share an example with you now that we are talking about dark
okay,
humor because I wrote a research paper on dark humor. So, I did a lot of
okay,
research, I interviewed a lot of people, and
hmm
you'd be surprised to know. So, I came across a meme which was quite
hmm
insensitive, but a lot of people found it funny. So, I'll share it with
okay,
you what it was.
hmm
So, it's a racial joke. So, there was this
okay,
dog, and then there
hmm
was a black man, and then
okay,
both of them shake their hands. And then
okay.
the caption comes, oh shit, now I have to wash my hands. And then we see the dog washing its hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Something we're not supposed to laugh at, but I found it incredibly funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I laugh at the worst things, and it's gonna end up getting me canceled. But yeah,
No,
I'm
so
not.
so about that. So you see, then I wondered, why do I find it so funny if it's so insensitive? And then I came
Okay.
across that there are two types of jokes actually.
Hmm.
One is, okay, I've forgotten what it's called. Now the joke's on me. One is socially inappropriate humor, and then one is something with which starts with the letter D, but I cannot remember because it's a fancy word.
That's
And
okay.
the main concept here is, long story short, that when you're cracking a socially inappropriate joke, it's not creative,
Hmm.
it's not funny, it's just cringe. So it's just targeting people
Hmm.
for the sake of targeting them. But when it's the other
Yes.
kind of joke, which I cannot remember what it's called, then the case completely differs. It's creative, it's offensive to some extent, but at the same time, it uses intelligence while doing that. So I feel when
Yeah.
I read this joke, I thought it was really, it twisted because I did not expect the animal to be washing its hands. So it was kind of creative
Yeah. Yeah.
in that sense.
So it was just like it was a surprise, kind of.
Yeah. So it should have that
I feel
element. So do
like
you have humor in your books?
I hope so. I think that things are funny. I think that I'm funny, and I don't know if everybody else finds me funny, but I try to make certain parts of my book funny. So
Makes sense. So I'd ask you the last question here. So,
okay.
if you were, like, imagine you lucid dream, I don't want you to go into the dreaming state, but yeah,
Okay.
imagine you're on a stage and there are like
Mhm.
thousands of people in front of you. They're all the people that you've ever
Mhm.
met in your life and also the people who just exist. So, entire planet is in front of you, and they all know
Okay.
one language, that is English, so they'll understand whatever you're saying. And
Okay.
you have one message to give to them. If you have to speak to them for 1 minute, what would it be?
Um. Okay. There are a few different ways I could go about this, but I think I would just say that everybody only gets one life, one chance to do what they wanted to do, and you need to pursue whatever your biggest dream is. You need to at least try, because if I would have never tried to write, I would have never been on the podcast right now. So I feel like I would just give a good message to everyone that there's not another chance. After you give up this chance, you don't have another chance to do what you have been dreaming of. So try it anyways.
That's wonderful. I even think about it. I'll also ponder upon this because it makes a lot of sense. If you'll not try, you wouldn't know what's coming your way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
was wonderful having this conversation with you, Abby.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.